All right, so if you clicked on this video, bear with us. 12-minute video here. A long video. I haven't done a long video in a very long time, but I'm here to discuss with you guys the Masters of Disguise characters from across various, not only just franchises, but toy lines as well, too. So you guys see the thumbnails, so we're going to discuss them. And who's the best at doing it? Who is the best master of disguise that fooled everyone? So Zartan, as we all know, is clearly a true, chameleon, where he can basically, camouflage himself any way he wants, even in the jungle. He can create masks, change his voice, change his appearance. He even turns blue with the sunlight too. I mean, that's how good this guy is, right? I mean, obviously, I'm joking with that part, right? We know the sunlight is his weakness, but Zartan, throughout the course of the years since we were introduced to him in 1984 with Revenge of Cobra, which was still, I think, the best 5-part GI Joe series ever made. We really saw what Zartan is capable of doing, and they just continued doing it, even in the movies too, where he, imposed himself as basically the president of the United States in the GI Joe movies franchise, right? Live action, that is, as we see him here, or Storm Shadow. So definitely Zartan, I think, is probably could be the best in manipulating the situation because number one, he can change his voice. Number two, he creates his own mask. Number two, he acts the characters very well. He studies the personas, and I think being a master of disguise, it's not just putting on a mask, right? It's also, being a good actor and basically being able to take on the traits of whoever you're taking over, right? And Zartan does it very well. I mean, some of the comics, we've heard, that Zartan is the one, there's theories, but this is the theory is that he killed the master who trained Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. That's the, original story. Some people debate that. They're like, well, there's different versions of it. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. But that's how good this guy is. Zartan is truly a master of disguise as he stares at the master mask there, knowing that he is going to basically turn Storm Shadow into an evil Cobra, trooper, right? But then, of course, Storm Shadow becomes G.I. Joe down the line. And the rest is history. But anyhow, you got to give props to Zartan. Anyways, this is the deluxe bow, by the way, G.I. Joe classified Zartan that came out years ago. Almost 3 years ago, I would say now. Still one of the best G.I. Joe classified figures of all time. I'm staring at him right now. It's just like, he's awesome. No matter what, I have so many Zartan figures. I could do a 1-hour video on Zartan figures that I have here of all the different disguises where he goes even as Duke, Breaker, you name it. He just has so many different disguises that you can't overlook Zartan, right? There is one person, you guys see in the thumbnail, that has just as many masks, disguises, but I think he does the best. Now, Hugo Strange. Now, he really fooled everyone when he basically knocked out Bruce Wayne and had him captive and took on the persona of Batman and even created a Bruce Wayne mask. That's right. He had Nightwing and Robin completely, utterly fooled. But Hugo Strange didn't have the full-out characteristics of Bruce Wayne, but it was good enough to fool everyone for a while. Think about it. He was able to pose himself as Bruce Wayne and Batman, right? That is a big thing there, right? Definitely, that's a big accomplishment, right? Letting, first of all, discovering Bruce Wayne's identity and then being able to take over the Bat's role and Bruce Wayne's as well and creating a mask to fool everyone. Hugo Strange, man, really did a good job of it. And here's another thing. Here's another master or another, fooling everyone. McFarlane Toys did not do a mass release of this one. I stumbled across it at a Walmart in Niagara Falls, New York, not Canada. And I was like, I can't believe I found this at the Walmart. It was like one just sitting there. And this one's hard to get. It's honestly, this is probably going to be in our top 10 2024 action figure. So you got to give it to Hugo Strange, another master of disguise here for fooling everyone. Posing himself as Bruce Wayne, Batman, and it was so good that they actually made an action figure with him with a wired cape as well too. All right, so there you guys go. Next, Manny Faces. Okay, there's discussion here. I was talking to some people. They're like, yeah, he creates different masks. He's an actor, right? So he's able to take on the roles of different characters. Look, if you guys are familiar with the original, He-Man cartoon, he posed himself as Beastman, right? I think Mattel's got to do a Manny Faces action figure where basically he's posed as Beastman. I think they really got to do that because that would be the master of disguise that we've all been waiting for. I would love to see a Beastman Manny Faces, whether it's an Origins or even a Masterverse line. I think that'd be a cool figure that they would do. Pass this message along to Mattel if you guys agree with me, and drop a comment below as you guys look at the comic version of Manny Faces. But as you can see, Manny Faces, right? I mean, he's got many faces basically, right? And from the comic version to the Origins one to the Masterverse one, which will be coming up very shortly, he's got different faces, right? And he's able to manipulate his voice again as well, and also, pretty much take on the characteristics of whoever he's taken over. And case in point, with Beastman in the G1 cartoon of Master Universe, he had everyone fooled for a while. I mean, he really, really pulled it off. Something similar to Zartan. I mean, these guys are so good at what they do. They're just, natural, good thinkers, very witty and very manipulative in how they can basically assess the situation. And they study people. They study, not just people, but even animals, whatever. They just study characteristics of all the traits, incorporating whatever encompasses the characteristics of these characters, and they take it on. I mean, being an actor overall, I mean, think about it. That's what you're doing. You're turning off your real personality and turning into something else, right? As we see him turn into Keldor there. I mean, look at that. That's cool. I mean, I call that the Shakespeare mask. It kind of reminds me of William Shakespeare, but it's Keldor, right? But I mean, look at that. I mean, someone's got to have to do a storyline where he poses himself like Skeletor and Keldor. I mean, this Masterverse action figure, I think, was one of the most underrated Masterverse figures of all time. I mean, you got all the different faces there. Again, cool, accessories, the backpack. Like I said, Manny Faces is the equivalent of Zartan's G.I. Joe, right? In, Master of the Universe. He came first. So I think Zartan was definitely inspired by Manny Faces from the MOTU storyline. So there you guys go. I mean, look at it. He's got Lizard. He's got a robot face. I mean, there's so many different faces that him and Zartan can share. I mean, they really are the masters of disguise. Where Hugo Strange just took on, one disguise with Batman and Bruce Wayne. But he, you got to give him props on that one, because he pulled it off for such a, good period of time, fooling everyone. But these guys really do it so well that they have so many different masks that they can, interchange with. But again, back to what I was saying, my case in point, I think Mattel's got to do a Beastman figure of Manny Faces, and even like different versions of him, like basically pretending to be even Faker, He-Man, you name it, right? As we ended off here with Manny Faces with the Origins figure that was re-released, which is still one of my favorites, right? I mean, it's still like, that pays classic, homage to the original figures there with Manny Faces. I mean, he's got three faces here, the classic ones there of himself, Robot, and then, of course, Lizard as well, right? So, I mean, you're not going to really fool anyone that much with wearing that outfit, but the whole idea is that he's able to take on personalities of different people, and he can disguise himself. Like I said, Mattel's really got to look at doing something with the Beastman and Manny Faces storyline from the G1 cartoon. So I think that'd be really, really cool. Again, drop a comment and hit that like button as we approach close to the 9-minute mark of the video. And if you're still watching, you haven't paused it or fast forwarded, give yourself a pat on the back, because you've been listening to me rambling on here as we look at the Lizard mask there of Manny Faces right there, or the monster face, whatever you want to call it. I call it Lizard, but anyhow, most people call it the monster mask there, as my mouth dries out here as I'm waiting for the next segment here for the Ultimate. Now, I read comics when I was a kid, but I wasn't introduced to this Red Hood storyline until I actually ran into Batman Bold and the Brave. Yes, do you guys remember that Batman Bold and the Brave cartoon that was back in the 2010, 2009, around there? And I used to watch it with my kids when they were younger, and we still kind of talk about it. And I remember the storyline where basically Batman runs into Red Hood, and really, who is under this Red Hood capsule? I mean, there's been different, characters playing it, but, this Red Hood here, not the Red Hood Jason Todd, had me fooled as well, because when I saw it, I'm like, wow, is that actually true? It's like almost the, the origin story of who, ha 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 ha, the Joker. Underneath there is the Joker. And honestly, I didn't even know this. And I'm a huge Batman fan, but I never knew the storyline of, the original Red Hood really being Joker underneath. And then Batman Bold and the Brave came along, and, it was the alternate parallel universe where Joker was basically sort of a, anti-hero kind of good guy in that version. And he was really Red Hood. I'm like, wow, that's really cool that, Joker is indeed the original Red Hood. So, I mean, this, you got to give Joker props on this one because, again, he had everyone fooled, including us here at Sammy's Collectible Toys Hall until we ran into it back in Batman Bold and the Brave here. This is a cool figure as well, too. This is another sleeper pick for McFarlane Toys. A lot of sleeper picks for McFarlane Toys for 2024, let me tell you. From Hugo Strange to Red Hood. I don't know why these weren't mass releases, to be quite honest with you, because these are really fabulous figures. I know some of those accessories don't come with it. I used, well, from the Revoltech Joker, which really goes well with it. It's some of the weapons there, the utilize on the Red Hood here, and you get a nice action figure stand and you put them on display, and voila, you have a cool pose there, and it's wired caping as well too. Look at that. Doesn't that look marvelous? It's a classic look there for Red Hood here. And you guys are all waiting. You're like, well, where is the Joker? Well, he's making you wait, right? He's showcasing his capabilities of shooting abilities and taking out Batman and all the JSA members back in the day, right? And there he is going, well, ha ha ha. So he's starting to give you guys a little bit of clue there. Why would he have a gun there in hand saying ha 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 ha? Right? And we all know what's going to come up next very slowly as we do some nice shots here of the wire caping here. Nice shot there as well. I really enjoyed filming this one, to be honest with you. Some figures you just film over and over again because it's just so eye-catchy. I just really, truly did love this figure. It looks marvelous. Look at it. Nice wind there playing in the background there. Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? Fantastic. And the white gloves as well, too. It's a cool figure. This might actually make it to my top 10 2024 action figures of the year, but definitely going to be McFarlane Toys for sure, top 10. And there he is. There's a Revoltech Joker. Try to get it on as snugly as possible, but it works well, and he's got the laugh there. So there you go. Joker is another master of disguise, fooling everyone under the Red Hood attire there. So there you guys go. These are the masters of disguise figures that I have and characters that have fooled everyone. And drop a comment below. Let us know if I missed anyone. I mean, there's Chameleon also from Spider-Man. I mean, he's a very notable one as well, too. I don't have his figure, but I probably will pick it up. So let us know what you guys thought of our assessment here. I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very long video. And be sure to drop a comment and hit that like button, guys. And, of course, we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care, everyone.